Hello, everyone, and as always, welcome back to Strategy Gaming Dojo, where we're finding and learning and turning the great strategy games, and that includes WarPlan Pacific. And we are in our PBEM Bonsai Challenge. So battling the Bonsai here, it has been a grind. Once we kind of put a stop to the well, I say put a stop to the advance. When he takes over all of India, there's nothing to put a stop to, and so there's not much more that could happen there. But in Australia, we stopped the advance, and now it's just become a bit of a grind there as we shadow box with each other. Um, I'm pretty comfortable with where we are in Australia now. That doesn't mean we're completely out of the woods, but now we've got to start thinking forward. Where do we go next? Where do we land? What are we doing? Now, you may remember last time we had a lot of transports off the coast of India. Now you can see we're down to one raindrop. One raindrop falling on my head. It's much better than two raindrops. That's one of the things about this game you got to keep in mind is when you have two raindrops out here, you can't do much. Now we're all poised over here, and now that I've got them out here, I want to do something else, I think. Okay, you might be like, oh gosh, I thought we were about to make our landings, our invasion into India. I actually think I'm going to back up and do something else, but we'll get to that in a minute. We did get oil through to the UK, which does allow us a little bit of flexibility. While these things were out on the transports and we had zero oil, we essentially had to land them somewhere because if we take them back and we've got zero oil, we could never get them back on the transports again. Well, you can put them on a transport, but the transport can't go anywhere. While it's out at sea, if you have no oil, you can still move them around, which is a good thing. I'd hate for them just to, float, sink to the bottom of the sea here because they're out of oil, but that's not how the game works. All right, let's go to the turn report and look at that first, and then we'll kind of do our usual, check each thing out, deploy our troops, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do next. All right, turn report. Soviet Union anti-tank advancement. We'll see they just tease me with the Soviet Union stuff. I have yet to see the Soviet Union ever activated in this game. Unfortunately, I almost want to play somebody that gets its garrison requirements too low in Manchuria, and all of a sudden the Soviets come in. I'd just like to run around the map with them. Allied oil production and storage facilities improvements become available, plus 40 oil. Great. I mean, it's not, that's not a huge deal now because the U.S. has more oil than it knows what to do with, and our problem with the other allies is just getting it to them, and that's all about merchant marines. It's not really about our actual production. We've got a lot of oil, and we're now building merchant marines just to try to, eventually get it through. Now, once we can get back kind of to parity, I say back, once we can initially get to parity on the seas and threaten his carrier task forces, we should be able to get a lot more stuff through to, first of all, Australia, then to the UK, and eventually, hopefully, into India. Um, this garrison was overrun, this U.S. garrison. That was the one down in Australia that was isolated. We used it to cut the rails at one point. We sacrificed, okay. We've got some things with no supply sources. We're still hanging in there in China. Third core, I should say, is low supplies, no supply source. Okay, UK is lacking merchant marines, so the US had to chip in all 17 that they have left. UK low oil supplies, Australia low. Now, that is not zero, though. We did get some through. I think the UK has like 17 oil now. Okay. Let's go to the combat log and see what happened. Well, of course, we had partisan activities in India, in China, in Australia. We had some partisans pop up. Oh, wait a minute, I'm wrong. That's ground strike. I was about to say that's weird. You can't have a partisan where he's got a unit, but I was willing to run with it if that was true. But no, it was actually a ground strike, ground striking this right here. And you can see we eventually got shoved back. So let's check that out. Um, okay, 5th Air Division hit in there. Third Corps took no losses. We again took no losses, but this is how he does it. This is how the Bonsai moves forward, and it's always just ground strike, ground strike, ground strike, boom, boom, boom. And then he's got carriers here. So again, he's not doing strength point losses, uh, but he is doing effectiveness losses. He's lowering our effectiveness. So when he eventually attacks, we've got very little effectiveness, and he can shove us back. Okay, land combat, and this was it. So he hit us the first time. He took two. We took five, and that's what happens when your effectiveness starts going way down. We held the first time. He hit us again, and we held very strongly there. He took a three loss. He took a two loss. He took a one loss. We took a two and finally had to retreat. And then this was the group that was overrun down here. This was the one that we had that was isolated. Okay. On the current turn, we've just got partisan activities, China, India, and out here in what Thailand, I believe, at this point in time. Not this point in time, but now, currently. Or is wait a minute, that's Thailand. Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to move on. Losses. U.S. took 19. Now that we lost that isolated unit, and we also took some losses there um, on the coast by Sydney. So we ended up losing 19. 4 in the air. Japanese lost 10. The Chinese only lost 1. He did not attack in China this time. And I mean, we're looking pretty decent here in China. You may say, well, you've lost a lot of territory. Certainly we have. I mean, we've lost, the biggest swath of the southern part of the country, but up here in the center, we've held pretty strong. And up here by Lanchao, we switched these units last time, and we're looking pretty decent there. Let's deploy it. See what we've got. We've got Comment. Now he is famous. Well, I don't know if famous is the right word, but he really likes to put ships where he knows you would want to land. I know this from playing him before. So I'm almost betting that he's got some ships here, some ships here, here. There's going to be ships out here. Now, we maybe don't see them because one thing I like about this game is they really do a nice, or Alvaro did a nice job with the fog of war when it comes to naval assets. That's part of the reason we've been able to sit out here for several turns. He doesn't know, he can't see our counters, but likewise, we can't see his. And so I want to put this British comment down, I believe here by Bombay. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so he did. He's got a little patrol craft out here. Now, there's been some controversy around these little patrol craft. Why do I say it's patrol craft? Well, let's get off there for a second. If we get off there for a second, there we go. If we click on there, it says unknown ships, but these little bitty counters like that, generally, in my experience, mean that they're the smaller patrol craft. You can see the bigger task forces look like that. Now, I could be wrong. We could get up here and it's a light cruiser or something, but I think these are the patrol craft. Now, there has been some controversy because people on the board saying, you really shouldn't be able to interdict blockade ports with patrol craft. Alvaro's pushed back on that. I would direct you to the forums as to why the Matrix forums as to why he thinks that that's appropriate. I see both sides. Well, I definitely historically see why people would say there's no way you should be able to blockade a port like Bombay with patrol craft. That is just not realistic, right? That being said, I think from a balance perspective is really the argument he's making to keep a balanced game. And as you can see with a really good player like Bonsai here, this is fairly balanced. If anything, it is a little leaning to the Japanese side, and that's been the Allies players' complaint is, well, the Japanese can only stick in the game because these patrol craft can run around and make sure you don't get any stuff into your ports. And I think Alvaro's answer to that really is kind of like, yeah, that otherwise you could give the Japanese more cruisers, light cruisers, I guess. But if you're going to make this a game where you can play both sides and it's interesting, anyway, that's the argument. You can go with that wherever you want. I'm just telling you the two different sides of the argument. All right. We've got these guys out here. What else do we have to deploy? So we know he's got a ship there at least. I'd love to know. I'm almost certain he's got one everywhere. Uh, and you may say, even if this is just one ship, He couldn't blockade Bombay. He could interdict the port a little bit, but we would still get supply through. The problem is he's blocking us from landing there. And why is that a problem? Well, what we would really want to do, and let's put the logistics on. I'm not sure why I had that off. Let's put it back on. The problem with assaulting Bombay, for instance, is you really want to land right here. Why is that? Because you immediately get on the rail. And a big problem that you have with doing this is the minute you land here, he's going to start railing units here as fast as he can. Okay, so you've got to try to cut the rail. It's almost impossible to cut this rail because you can't get into this hex. This is rough. You land, you get here, but then you can't get to this hex, and he can rail things in, and you just can't take it. And you really got to get north of the city here and here, because then you're not attacking across a river anyway. You can see what I'm talking about. It's tough. I mean, I've tried to assault Bombay 50 different ways in all the games of this I've played, and the best way to do it is to land right here. Well, Bonsai's a very good player, and he knows that. He knows that's the hex you don't allow transports to land in. Likewise with Calcutta, really you're gonna want to be here. He's gonna have almost certainly a ship here. With Chittagong, it's a little different because there's road here, there's rail here, so he's probably got a ship right there. If I'm guessing, and I certainly am. Okay. Let's keep deploying because I don't want to really make these decisions yet. So let's deploy on. Next turn for the US, we get another submarine. We probably need to be building some more submarines. I've been a little lax just because until January 1943, when they get another bump to their effectiveness and your advancements get you up to a 1942 level, they're really kind of worthless as the Allied player. All you can do is run them out there and get them destroyed. 27th Division, we'll get next time. We'll put that on the map. We get a Comet coming up. We get more landing ships, so on and so forth. As I keep saying, the big ones, when you get the Essex, December 31st, 1942, that changes the game quite dramatically as you start getting these carriers. Soviet Union, okay, China, no. Australia gets that air unit February 10th. Canada, nothing. The commies, nothing. Okay. Whew. Now then, um, we've looked at the combat log. We've looked at deployment. Let's look at reports. He's still at 1369, 193. This is the real number I watch. We've got to get to air parity with them and naval parity. We're getting there naval wise. You're never going to have quite parity with the ground units until much later on, like 1944 maybe. Um, but as long as he holds India, he can still crank out units. We're not really catching up there yet. Let's look at the casualties. We got him up to 224, 55, and 32. Okay. Uh, I've certainly been much better than this, double this, but that's against lesser players, really. US 83, 39, 35, certainly acceptable. That's fine. UK hasn't really lost much other than its whole entire merch fleet. We're doing quite well in China in this game, I feel like, compared to some other games. Sunk ships, we still just have the Prince of Wales. Let's go to the war panel. UK 70. Oh, by the way, it's October 11th here as we get further and further into 1942. 73 victory points for the UK, 78 for the US. Soviet Union's going to win the game. No, China hanging in there, like I said. And then, you can't. The minors don't matter. It's just the big four. Just the big four for victory points. Let's look at advancements. Did we get a new research center? I hope we did. All right, we're moving along. UK will get their warships up to 1943 and their large warships there about, when you would expect, about 1943. Carrier operations, it'll be nice when the Hermes pops to a 43. It is a better ship now in the new updates, but it's still not very good. But you do eventually get a lot of British carriers. This is the big one, the assault. And you just want to keep cranking, cranking, cranking on that bad boy. I could pop that. Can I pop that to an 8? I can. Okay, I would much rather do that. Let's get that to a 1944. And if we look on it, when we go to a 44, we get an extra artillery point, and probably most importantly, we get another defensiveness point. That certainly helps. Whoops, let's go back to the US. Just make sure there's not something else we need to do. Carrier operations, yep, keep cranking away. When we get that to a 44, we're really, really, really cooking with oil at that point. Anti-sub, blah, 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 blah. Assault, it'll be nice when that goes to a 43, but we got a long ways to go. Soviet Union doesn't matter. China doesn't. I mean, it matters, but there's not a whole lot you can do with it. Convoys, let's go back down here by Australia. We know where his two carrier task forces are. They are into the inlet, into Sydney, into Australia, so we can continue to send out to the UK. We've only got 17 Merchant Marine ships, though, so what are you going to do? If we click over here, I've got 20 oil. Now only 17 will actually go through. I just made it 20 just because it was easier. I could make that 17 because ultimately that's all that can go through there. But, let's get more oil into the UK. As you see right now, UK back down to 3 because we got a little through, but we didn't get I always want to say ton, but tons are used, in these war games to mean specific things. But we didn't get a ton through. How about that? Build queue. UK's up to 68. They can get a new division probably next time. US got 354 in the stockpile. That does allow us to either build well, we go a different couple of different ways. We could build a core, a large core, and let's say like a submarine. I think large core 234. We're at 354, so we could build that and a sub this time. Um, I think I'll do that. I do want to get some more era assets, but well, yeah. Okay. I'm not sure what I was going to say there. I really want to get some more air assets. We need more assets, but we need more submarines too. And when it clicks over to 43, they become a lot more fearsome. Now you can see we've only got them at a 1941 level, and maybe that's something we should actually work with here a little bit. Fighter bombers, we want to keep going. Close support, we want to keep going. Strategic bombing, you always kind of want to have going on. I'd love to get this up because those U.S. mechanized units can wreak havoc. This is down to 59 days. Why don't we do this? We'll go down to 2 and 4. Naval, air, anti-sub. We need all of these. Because the U.S., you just need everything. We need escort. We need close support. We need strategic bombing. I want to keep this going because, again, those mechanized forces are really something for the U.S. Okay, I don't think there's really much else to do there. So the Brits can't really build anything this turn. U.S. We're done. Soviet Union, China, Australia, Canada can almost build another division, although it's getting low on logistics now. And the commies are up to 106, and they can build one more unit from a logistics standpoint. So that'll be great. Okay, now let's think about moving. And I'm going to go offline here for a second. I'm going to think things over so I don't come back and go, over and over. I'll be right back. All right, let's start down in Australia, and we'll move our partisan unit down the road as he continues on. He's got 2 days of supply left. Now, if we look at the logistics, though, he's now in supply from Darwin, so he's going to get a little bit of supply to keep his partisan journeys going on. He may just eventually land something over here, although I don't even know if it's worth it for him to do that. It's not like this is a victory location or something. Now, let's say we bring a bunch of troops into Darwin. For what purpose? I mean, there's nothing to do in Darwin. Now, if we look at this mess down here, what are we up to? Well, let's take logistics off so we can see what's going on. We could try to push out here, and actually, let's put it right back on. But see, that's a 1. And really, we've accomplished what I want to accomplish in Australia. I mean, we're holding Canberra and we're holding Sydney. Now, the big problem is just trying to keep Sydney. But we're really in pretty decent shape here. Now, we could try to move units or do something different with the units here, we could make this, add the specialty and make this elite. It's probably not the worst idea. And then try to push this back. As a matter of fact, I think. God, I hate to use both elites in Australia, though. We're holding on to one victory location. It's not like it's the end of the world. Now, if we try to hit here, we go 3-1. That's only a 20. I actually would like to flip these two, if I can. Hmm, weird. Can he not go down there? How far can he go? Oh, he just can't get up here. Oh, now that's an 8. That bugs me. He could drop back there, but he's actually stronger than this unit, which is down to 37 effectiveness. That's because it got the absolute living crud bombed out of it last turn. Now we could try to bomb this a few times. Okay, 1-1. And let's hit that again. And now we took 2 and he took 0. Well, that's not great. That's 2-1. That's now 4-1. Let's do this. Let's try to knock him back. Oh, excellent. Okay, so we did that on turn 1 because I was worried about wearing this unit down, but I think we avoided that. I could put this up in here. Let's do that, and we'll put him there, and we'll bring him out this way. Now, he may bring that 8 there, but I don't really see much advantage for him doing that. That would put us in a 5 or a 9. Hmm. Could also make this elite, but it's only an infantry corps small. I could split part of this out. It's 42 assault. Let's do that. Let's split part of that. And then combine him up there. There, I think that works better. Now he's a 15 of 20, and we can put him, let's say, right there. Now he may get knocked back again, but I like that much better than where we were. He's really lost quite a bit of effectiveness. He's down to 21%. He's at 15 of 20. Let's actually put him on priority. We'll see. I mean, he's going to bomb the absolute crap out of, this guy probably, and then attack him again, knock him back again, and we'll just play that game over and over potentially. But I can't really let him get into this hex because if he can get into this hex with 2 strong units, he bombs the crud out of Sydney, and then all of a sudden, he takes Sydney, and then where are we? We still got the national supply source, but we can't get anything else in here. Now, these guys, can I knock something out of here or knock it back out of here? Maybe. I kind of want to keep an operation point there. He's only got 1 left. I don't think I'm going to do any bombing there. Where's he at now? He's at 17 of 20. Okay, that looks fine. That's 42 close sport. He's 42 close sport. We could ace plus 10 air, plus 10 armor, plus 10 spotting. None of that really helps us. He doesn't have any armor out here. One thing I was thinking about doing is actually dropping these guys back again. I hate to leave this out here stranded. It's an infantry corps large. Now that goes 3-2. Oh, you know what? Well, this would be it's 1-2. Yeah, we really got to attack there and try to link these guys back up. Otherwise, he's going to get overrun. He can't get far enough down here to like get another air unit. He overran 1, but that's an infantry corps large. We've got to try to save that if we can. So let's hit there at 0-0. We're just trying to bring down his effectiveness. And then let's flip these two 23 of 30. He's 15 of 20. Do I dare take that stronger unit out, though? Is the question. But I really, really need to pop that. That's 16 of 20, 23 of 30, 15 of 20. Let's look at the logistics one more time. That's a 6, and that's a 5. It's actually better over there. Let's go ahead. I wouldn't be able to do it until next turn. Gosh darn it. Um, I thought he would still have movement points left. Well, shoot. He's only got one more day of supply left. His effectiveness is down to 14%. They're going to attack the crud out of him, but by switching these two, I could blast this next time and potentially have something good happen. I may bring this US unit down here and reverse him out. This is just a huge grind chess match right here at this point. I could back this up, although I do not want that stronger unit there. Now he may flip it over to here, but that's okay. I think I'm just going to leave that as is. I like that situation up here better. This, he did a good job of closing that off. I think maybe I'll move the headquarters there, just so he doesn't take that hex. We'll move up there next time and move him back. I've got the stronger unit here now, and we'll try to, smack him right there if we can. If this guy just doesn't get totally overrun this turn anyway, if he does, then we'll just flip right back. I hated giving up that fort or the entrenchment level, but I don't think we had a better choice really. We got to try to get, I mean, that's 30 strength points for the Australians. We got to try to get it out. Now down here, the problem is we can't really follow on to this attack. We take Bombay. Okay, great. It's a level 5 port. It can support up to 100 strength. He's already got it interdicted. So we're just not going to be able to do anything there. And I think what I'm going to do is completely back this out. You may say, what? Are you crazy? Probably. But let's back him out. Let's back this unit up. Let's back that unit up. Let's alt and combine those two. So we've got a stronger British unit now. Let's take the headquarters. We'll put it in Pretoria. Let's disembark the 20 of 20. All right, so he's in there now. So we've got the Brits back. They only used one oil doing all of that nonsense. Let's see what other oil we can use. Let's put him back in port. All right, we'll disembark him. And we're going to have him also split next time, and we'll make both of these infantry corps larges. And then I'm also going to bring this guy back. Okay, now I've got all the Brits back here. While we still can, we could try to put some of these American units back into Australia. I'm going to put one through, 20 of 20, 15 of 15, 20 of 20. These are the guys I want to keep here, actually, all three of these guys. So let's go put them down at the African bases and reconsider. I really, really think to start an invasion like this, you've got to be willing to put your naval forces out there. And if you're not willing to do that, you can't get them stranded out there. Now, against a lesser player, we could certainly do it. Um, so anyway, let's. Okay, so we've drawn all those guys back. Let's make sure there's nothing left out here. We will re-engage that. Again, we're not even a year into the war yet. We're 10 months in. We've got 3 years to go. There's no reason to do anything stupid at this point that doesn't allow us to win the war. We could try to attack here, but that's a 1 and 2. It's into the rain, and he's doubly entrenched. Usually that's not a great recipe. Let's do this. Let's get him over here by the road. We'll just start kind of falling back this way. We don't want to fall back too much. As a matter of fact, let's look at the logistics here. Yeah, he's already in supply. We don't want to fall back too much because I don't want him pressuring us from this direction um, into Chengdu. And as a matter of fact, I'm almost tempted to move this back over here. I don't want him to get a free river crossing. Let's just do it that way for now. I'll move that guy back, but you don't want to give him a free river crossing. Make him pay. If he's got to come across the river, make him pay. Nothing there. He's up to a 6 of 5 again, so he can really attack into that, especially with if he's got air assets. Now we could try this attack here, but really I don't want to wear this guy down when it comes down to it. He's now 30 of 30. He's 25 of 30. He's 23 of 30. So as you can see, we built up a lot of these. Does he need it? Yeah, we'll keep him on priority. This guy's up to 20 of 30. Does he need to be on priority? Probably not. He's only a 3. He's the weakest link along here, but we're in pretty good shape there. We could try this attack. We could also try, probably not that one. You can see he's moved his 8 over here. Now, we are doubly dug in here. That's a 39 assault. That's a 40 assault. That's a 40 assault, and he's 30 of 30. Let's actually shift those two. All right. And we'll put him on hold as well. So now he's on hold. This guy's back here trying to build up. Let's put him on priority. And then we've got the really strong unit here. As a matter of fact, let's just shift those two. Let's switch those two. This is our elite unit. So if he breaks through there, I'd rather have him here. I mean, why? We can always put him back in Chengdu. So let's just put him up there. Let's put this headquarters up here on the edge of the line just to make sure maybe he doesn't break through there. This all looks good. This all looks good. We could try an attack here. 1 to 2. No, 2 to 1. It's not bad, but I don't really want to wear him down. He's just sitting here. He's doubly entrenched, 30 of 30. I love it. God, I love it. Okay, he would have to attack across the river there. Let's put him on priority. Not that it really does any good with the commies. They just never get better. Now, this guy I did want to bring around here, I think. I want to protect this path. Now, he would have to go through the mountains to come this way. So I think protecting this side is more important. Um, that all looks good, guys. That all looks fine. Would I do anything different? Well, no. I mean, once we decided to pull back here, there's not a whole lot more you can do different. In Australia, would really hate to lose that unit. Um, we're just playing a cat and mouse game with this out here. He doesn't have enough strength to push into it in the short term. In the short term. But he's going to bomb the crap out of this again and probably push this back, and then we'll have to put this in there and so on and so forth. Eventually, he'll wear this down. So I've put another unit through um, that one of those Indian unit, one of those units that was going to India. It's going to come out here next time. We'll try to land that up here. We also have we could bring the strategic bomber out. No place to really put it, unfortunately. We will take this out of Astoria. As you can see, we've got a lot of points there. We'll put that through to Australia. Or what did I say? A lot of points? A lot of transport points is what I meant. We had 57, and so we've got plenty. We'll move him up to Astoria. He's ready to go. We get another infantry corps small next time, and we got to start thinking about either New Zealand or Papua New Guinea. We also could start thinking about pushing through an American task force. One of the things I'm going to do is go ahead and use that specialty, I think. Well, let's go back out here. Still haven't decided that. I'm kind of hemming and hawing. If we put the specialty on here, we could either make him elite, we could knock off 1 to enemy entrenchment. I mean, those are really, anti-tank. That's not going to do a whole hell of a lot of good for us out here. But we could make it elite. He's 30 of 30. Oh, hell, let's just do it. That should take him to an 8. Okay, and then, his effectiveness right now is 59%, but that should go up. unless he just gets absolutely smoked in a bombing campaign here. The other place I'm a little worried about is here, but that's a river crossing. I think we could either move this down here or we could just switch these guys back if he wants to go up on the mountaintop next time. You know, he's attacking down into this, or he would be. Um, yeah, this is a mountain. It's a 2.5 defensiveness, and he would be going across a river because the river, you may say, well, it's not going this way, but just this river going into here makes it a river crossing. Um, all right, guys. What else did I want to do? Well, we could go to Pearl and start thinking about what we want to move out here. We could take all of the American carriers, one, two, three, four, five, and six. We could take all of them out and a massive battleship force. We could also, if we want to try to get some of his carriers occupied, we could take some stuff down here by Suva, Nomaya, and try to interdict his port. Now we're going to need 3 ships to do that. Um, Got a lot of destroyers, obviously. We've got light cruisers. We've got regular cruisers. You know what I'm going to do? Let's take this off. Let's take the Salt Lake City and 2 destroyers. All right. And let's start taking that towards Suva. And we're going to start trying to get some of his carriers to move. Um, Now, as part of that, well, I'll show you next time. Yep, we've got them on that. That's fine. Let's just bring them down here, and let's actually take a second group then. No, Maya might be a bridge too far. We could potentially do it at Rabaul, Port Moresby, Lay, but he's got air assets over here. He does not appear to have an air asset at Suva or at Nomaya. All right, I think I'm gonna start getting a little more aggressive with this now that I thought that over. It took me a long time to figure that out. U.S. Whoops, let's take all of these off. Let's take the New Orleans and those two. They're in stealth mode. Let's bring them down here as well. So we'll put them there and let's start thinking about doing something here. We could also, let's see, let's go to Naval. We maybe want to start building some patrol groups. Um, they cost 130, but I mean, when you compare that to a destroyer group, which is 234, or a cruiser group, which is 351, it may be worth it. I don't know. Something to think about for next time. Let's look at our warnings really quickly. It was just low oil for Australia, for UK. He obviously does not have a supply source, neither does the partisan, but he does now. And then we had the partisan activity. All right, guys. This has been Strategy Gaming Dojo. Interesting gameplay here, to be certain. It's a grind in Australia and China. We're going to try to get back into India. We'll see. All right, guys. Have a good one. Talk to you next time.